Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Abide in your silence. Remembering always that you are just pure awareness. As awareness, you are never ever involved in anything. As awareness, you are witness to all the actions of the body and mind. And when you stay with your attention on awareness, then an amazing thing happens. Peace dawns on you. Contentment dawns on you. And you become nothing. And all this contentment is of nothingness. But in nothingness, you know that you are complete. Your knowledge is complete. You are Purna. You are complete, whole. And another thing happens in this nothingness. This emptiness gets filled with love, with infinite love, with unconditional love. And in that love, everything is you. So this is a big paradox. And who knows this? Nobody can understand this. In emptiness, when you are nothing, when you know that you are not even the body-mind complex you are using is not you, contentment becomes your nature by just paying attention to the pure awareness. So how do you pay attention to the awareness? All the time we are paying attention to the mind, not even paying attention to the mind. We speak from the mind. All our talk is from the mind. So, how to live a life in which you use the mind, you use the body, you do all the actions, but you are still in the neutral zone. So, all the concepts about my life, my family, my job, my career, all my desires, name, fame, sex, nationality, religion, culture, my concepts, my beliefs, what is this all? This all makes me condensed into an individual. Still, it's working through consciousness, but it is very limited. It is not open. It is not free. It is bound by my own concepts of the mind. So, how can you be free? To be free from it, the simplest thing is by choiceless awareness. Knowing that awareness has no choice, and I am true awareness. My true self is pure awareness. And if I'm awareness only, and I'm not the body mind, and my job or my nature is just pure witnessing, then the profound understanding occurs to you that you are not the doer. Then how can you be the doer? And as soon as you jump out of the doership, what happens next? The ego dissolves. The identity which was bounding us, which was giving us a concept that I am an individual, drops away. This can happen in a fraction of a second for you if you understand it correctly. Or it might take some practice. But to be in awareness, there is no practice in it. We all are pure awareness. We have abused and misused mind to an extent that now we need a practice, a teaching to be out of it. But the moment you realize that as an individual, we create a boundary, we create a wall between this body and others' body. Maybe you might think you are a very good person and you are not creating any walls with your ego and you always try to help others. But ego has its boundaries. That boundary might end with your family, with your community, with your country, because at some level it will have likes and dislikes. And the dislikes are outside the boundary of the ego. So maybe you are much more vaster, bigger than another condensed consciousness which is very egoistic, selfish, thinking only about itself. But still, you will have a boundary. So, from boundary to become infinite, you have to leave thing which bounds us as a person. And everything bounds us as a person. Everything, what you see, hear, feel, touch, read, everything bounds us. Because all that knowledge comes from the mind, grasped from the mind, analyzed by our intellect, And when we see images and we believe in all images, whether you want it or not, as soon as you see a person, an image, even an object, the mind starts analyzing it, categorizing it, classifying it. And here the problem occurs. Maybe at some time you might think, I don't care about it, but the mind cares about everything. So, how can you keep your mind in a restful state in day to day interactions and even when you are alone, and the mind doesn't cause this disturbance, this nuisance of analyzing, interpreting everything unnecessarily, unknowingly, as a habit? The simplest task is to understand that and to stay and abide as choiceless awareness, where your rights, your choice comes at the end, last person in the queue, or maybe nothing in the queue because you are pure awareness, you're not even in the queue. So, no priorities to your own rights, but on the other hand, all responsibilities to you, taking care of everything around you. If you can live a life like that, where you have no rights, you are free. All the rights are of the ego, which is false, which believes in the body mind complex, who owns it. Completely fake and false belief. There is no substance in it. So start watching from awareness whatever is unfolding outside world and inside world, inside in your intellect, in your mind, and pick up the devil, how it manufactures, how it takes away honesty of awareness in subtle selfish attitudes, always thinking about this body mind, always putting you into a special category all the time, trying to, or if you are not interested in that, then trying to show you into an inferior category, creating a complex in you. In both ways, it doesn't want you to be at neutral level, where you are genuine awareness rather than a special person or a person who is in suffering. Can we see the word as it is without any filter of the ego? And this word looks for us to be exactly the same to all of us, but not. We all have a filter of mind by which we all perceive this word in a different way. And sometimes we feel that we all feel the word in the same way. It is incorrect. The reason is because we move in company of people who have similar wavelengths, similar frequencies, similar concepts about life. So we think that life is same for all of us, but it's not like that. If you really want to be seeing the word the way the word is, we have to give up the filter of the ego, the filter constructed by the mind, by our conditioning. And this conditioning is huge. There are layers and layers and layers of conditioning. From our education, from family, from culture, from religion, to so many things. So how to give away? Give away everything which constitutes this condensed consciousness and make you that infinite consciousness. How can we achieve that? The person who wants to achieve can never achieve because there's nothing to achieve. Because no one can do it. It's not a doable thing, but it is observable thing. When you acknowledge it, you observe without analyzing, without taking it as a concept, just observing, pure observing. Observing this talk, understanding the truth and being the truth, that's all. Because the truth is always there. It is only our habit which takes us into a person mode. How much you are attached to the person mode depends on your own sanskar, your own perceptions, and everyone is so different. For someone who understands this knowledge, can drop it in a fraction of a second. Because what is false, why will it take time to drop if you know it is false? The false will drop and you are what you are. But if your mind is very strong with concepts, then probably it might take some time to keep repeating it again and again and again. What is a satsang? Sat is truth, sang is company. Company of truth. Company of truth within you and company of truth in a group. And what is that truth? The truth is that no one is a doer. None of us are a doer. No one is bound by any karmas. Things are happening on their own. No one to blame. No one is a sinner. And no one is an achiever. These are all images coming and going in that pure awareness which we all share, imbibe, and are. None of us are ego. We might be having a body-mind complex through which we interact, but all of us are equally innocent. No bondage to anyone. If you think you are having a bondage, it is an illusion, false belief. And there is no need for any sadhana or practice if you can understand this concept. And this is not a concept, this is the truth. It can be put in so many different ways. And who knows, who understands in what way. But truth is very simple. It is so simple that it is so difficult to grasp. Because it is so simple and so straight. You don't have to stand on one leg for 20 years to understand it. The moment your heart knows the truth, and your mind dissolves in this truth, then who is left to understand it? The one who tries to understand has to dissolve. And the knowledge, what we are trying to achieve, is us only. Having a guru, worshipping a guru, is not going to give you anything. You have to stand on your feet, see the truth without a filter, in all its nakedness, that you never have a choice. You are always uninvolved. You are mere a witness to the things happening around you. You had no choice in your birth, and you have no choice in your death. If the beginning and the end has not, you don't have a choice, then how can you have a choice in between? When start and end of something has no choice, then how can you have a choice in between? Where was your ego when you were born? What your ego can fix? Can it fix your birth and death? How many times you have decided with your mind to do something and it happens exactly opposite to it? It is like tossing a coin. Half of the time things happens the way you want and you think you have done it. And half of the time it doesn't happen the way you want, and then you feel frustration. It is like things are happening on its own, but this false entity in us thinks that it is doing it, or it is at least trying, and it is happening because of it. Give away this false perception about that you are doing anything, you are achieving anything. Retire entirely, eternally from this doership. Because it's a wrong concept. The body mind is programmed to do things the way it has to happen. You are pure awareness who is just watching the show. Good things happens with the body mind or bad things happens with the body mind. You can stay as a witness. Nobody can stop you of staying as a witness except your mind. And it is your mind, it's not you. And we all have this understanding, but as soon as the satsang finishes, people again go back into the person mode. Who is asking you to behave like this? Nobody. Nobody even goes inside your mind and checks how you are behaving, whether you are behaving from the person mode or whether you are pure awareness. It looks like as an ego you have a lot of choice. It only looks, it only appears. And it looks like you have to choose something. There is no choice in choiceless. Because that is the nature of the ego. It uses mind and intellect to analyze judge, have likes and dislikes, and pick up and choose things. Whatever you pick up and choose, is it like having the first bite of that apple which will always give you sorrow? Whether things goes in your favor or not your favor, sorrow has to come with it. The moment you go for a choice, you choose, you become part and parcel of this game. And then the consequences, you have to bear the fruit of the consequences, whether good or bad. So the only free will we have is to be free from the mind, free from the ego. By just understanding this, that we are pure awareness, uninvolved, always a witness. And when you are a witness to the body mind, you're always contented and happy because nothing is on stake. Neither your image or anything. And you will be surprised that the body does the work in the most beautiful way when you are a witness. It flows the way the divine wants it to flow. You just have to move away as an ego. It is like a kid's toy car which someone is controlling by remote, and the kid has a handle which doesn't do anything, and the kid is happy to move it, that it's turning and it's not turning. Sometimes the kid is turning it to the left and the car is turning to the left. He thinks, oh, I have turned it. Sometimes he's turning to the right and it's going straight. And then he gets frustrated. The remote is somewhere else of this body mind. It's not in your hand. The moment you understand this truth, you are free. Then all the blame game disappears. Blaming yourself for something gone wrong, blaming others, blaming the world. There is a deafening silence dawns on you the moment you give up. The moment you give up, you are in perfect silence forever, all the time. What a beauty! The situation doesn't change. The situation is same. You are among same people, same atmosphere, same job, same family. But deep peace dawns on you the moment you give up doership. The moment you just realize this truth. Things are unfolding on their own. You are nothing but a witness to everything. Stay as a witness even to the ego mind body complex. Let it be there. And the moment you are awareness, witness to the ego, you see all the cunningness of the ego within, the bad person within. Whole world might think that you are one of the best persons they have ever met. But when you watch from the awareness, you know all the weaknesses of this ego. Without judging the ego, watching as an observer will melt away the ego. This is the power of attention. power of observing from this neutral zone. And that's all your true self is, which is observing, which is a witness. You can call it by any name or no name, doesn't matter. There's no name for it. But because you love a particular God or deity or a guru, you can call it that. Shiva, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Ramana Maharishi, doesn't matter. It is actually self. It is you. It is Brahman. It is that purest of pure, unadulterated, untainted. It has never done any sin. And that is you. Don't get into the trap of the mind and the story on which it feeds, present, past, and future. Whatever it brings a story to you, don't believe on any story, just watch. Whatever it brings, just watch. Always watch. Be vigilant. Don't judge yourself, don't judge others. Don't create opinions. Don't think anyone is bad or good. People are as good as bad as we are. More we see bad in others, that means we are actually that bad. What we are, that's the same thing which we see in others. We are uninvolved. How can we judge? We are pure awareness. We can't judge anything as pure awareness. We can't have likes or dislikes as pure awareness. Always bring everything on that level of pure awareness and see whether you are behaving as pure awareness or whether you're behaving as an ego. Practice this. This is a practice. This is very profound practice. When you go into a party, you meet people, how they are judging some situation or some person, how bad that person is. I'm not saying that they are talking, it's gossiping. They might be talking about the truth of the real world, whatever is happening around us. But as pure awareness, how can you do this? You're all pervading awareness. You don't need any other technique. There is no technique to it. But don't bring your mind into this. When you are observing, you are just observing. But you are observing acutely, not as dull-minded observation, not analyzing anything. But intense looking beyond the objects and images. Watching the sunrise, watching the birds flying, watching a flower, but not analyzing it. Just pure watching. Bring that pure watching to the internal structure within us: ego, mind, intellect. Not trying to correct anything. Again, not analyzing anything. Mere observation fixes everything. And it fixes forever. You don't have to do anything. In so many cultures, they talk about remember God. How do you remember God? You can remember God as you and God separate. You remember God as ego only. How can you be free? But yes, remembering God is by paying attention to the pure awareness, the God within. None other than you. God is the other name of your pure self. Pay attention to that. Pray to it. Respect it. Love it. Attention to it is remembering it all the time. When you are paying attention to the pure awareness, you are remembering and abiding in the God all the time. He is closest to you. He is you. The best remembrance is to become God, to merge in God, to give away your false ego. And what is the grace? Grace of God or grace of self? Attention to the pure awareness is the grace. This fire, this power of grace works when you are only working as awareness. What is godly act? How God behaves in this world? He never comes and proclaims that he is so and so. He is always silent. He is always serving everyone. Equanimity, loving kindness. He never judges anyone. Even the worst of the person doing a wrong act to earn his or her living also gets food. Then who are we to judge anyone? Who are we to comment on people? Even if those people dislike you or hate you or say malicious things about you. But who are you? Who will get affected by all these things? Awareness? The God within? Who can insult God? If you are getting insulted, then you know what you are. And you are pure awareness. Even if the whole world wants to involve you Can you get involved? Yes, the body can act and do something as destined, but you are always a witness to the body, to the mind. You are always contented and happy as pure awareness. You are always in your own blissful state as pure awareness. You have nothing to accomplish or nothing to do as pure awareness. You have never done anything good or bad. Abide in pure awareness and stay eternally free, free from the mind. Om Shanti 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 Om.